You reach a point in this journey where you start believing you've figured it out. A few good trades, a streak of wins, confidence rising quietly in your chest. And that's usually the most dangerous moment of all, because the market has a way of humbling people right when they think they've finally conquered it. I learned something the hard way, something that changed how I look at this business forever. I learned to respect the market the same way you respect the ocean. Think about the ocean for a moment. You can learn how to swim in it. You can learn how to surf on it. You can study the waves, the tides, the currents. You can even spend your entire life around it. But no matter how skilled you become, you never conquer the ocean. The ocean doesn't belong to you. It doesn't care about your confidence, your plans, or your ego. It simply allows you to be there. It tolerates your presence. And if you respect it, if you understand its power, it can reward you with beauty, adventure, and abundance. But the moment you get careless, the moment you think you're in control, the moment you believe you're the master, the ocean reminds why. Oh, you who's really in charge, the market works the exact same way. It doesn't care about how smart you think you are. It doesn't care how many indicators you use. It doesn't care about your opinions, your predictions, or your hopes. It only cares about one thing, who is disciplined and who is not. So when I speak to you today, I'm not speaking to you as someone trying to sell you a dream. I'm speaking NG to you as someone who has been humbled, broken, tested, and educated by this business. And here's the first truth you need to accept. This is not a hobby. This is not entertainment. This is not gambling. This is a profession, and like every real profession, it demands respect. Doctors study for years before touching a patient. Pilots train endlessly before flying a plane. Athletes discipline, cheat, air bodies before stepping onto the field. Yet in trading, people think they can just show up, place a few trades, and somehow win consistently. That mindset is why most traders fail. If you want to survive here, if you want to thrive, you have to approach this business with seriousness, with humility, with patience. You need a method, not a random setup you saw on social media, not something, you copied without understanding. A real, repeatable, systematic method. A way to identify opportunities. A way to define risk before you enter. A way to know when you are wrong, quickly. Because the market rewards clarity and punishes confusion. You also need records. Write down every trade, why you entered, what you saw, what you felt, where you exited, and what the result was. Most traders avoid. It's because it forces them to confront the truth, and the truth is uncomfortable. But without records, you are blind. You repeat the same mistakes again and again, wondering why nothing changes. And then there are losses. Let me be very clear about this. Losses are not a sign that you're failing. Losses are part of the business. The problem isn't losing money. The problem is not learning from the force. Weak traders get angry. Weak traders blame the market. Weak traders blame manipulation, news, brokers, or other traders. Strong traders do something different. They look in the mirror. They ask themselves, what did I miss? Did I follow my rules? Was this a good loss or a bad loss? Did I execute properly? This kind of brutal self-honesty is rare. And that's exactly why it separates winners from losers. And here's another dangerous trap. When you win, don't assume it was all skill. Ask yourself what role luck played. Ask yourself whether you could repeat the process again under the same conditions. Because anyone can win once. Anyone can get lucky. But consistency comes from process, not ego. The market has been here long before you, and it will be here long after you. It doesn't need you. You need it. The principles that worked 100 years ago still work today. Not because markets are simple, but because human nature hasn't changed. Fear still makes people sell too early. Greed still makes people hold too long. Hope still blinds judgment. Panic still creates opportunity. The strong still take money from the weak. Your job is not to predict every move. Your job is not to be right all the time. Your job is to position yourself among the strong. To be patient when others are impulsive. To be disciplined when others are emotional. To protect your capital when others are chasing. Because capital is your lifeline. Lose your capital, and you lose your seat at the table. Preserve it, and you live to trade another day. I'm giving you this wisdom freely. And underst. And this, it wasn't free for me. It cost money. It cost time. It cost pain. It cost mistakes that took years to recover from. Don't waste it. Don't waste another year making the same errors that have destroyed countless traders before you. Study the market. Develop your method. Control your emotions. Protect your capital. Because opportunities don't disappear forever. They come in cycles. They owl. Ways do. The big opportunity is coming. It always is. The only question is whether you'll be ready when it arrives. Will you have the capital? Will you have the courage? Will you have the clarity to act without hesitation? That's how real wealth is built in this business. That's how professionals are separated from cautionary tales. And now I want you to think, what has been your biggest challenge? So far, was it discipline? Was it patience? Was it emotional control? Be honest with yourself. And if this message struck something inside you, if it felt uncomfortably true, then don't ignore it. There's more to learn, more understanding waiting for you, more insights that can change the direction of your trading journey. Don't wait another year. Don't wait for another painful lesson. Start applying these principles now with your very next trade. The market is waiting, and your fortune is there. But only if you are disciplined enough, patient enough, and wise enough to claim it. Comes a moment in every trader's life when confidence quietly turns into arrogance. It doesn't announce itself. It slips in softly. You start believing you've finally cracked the code. You think you understand the rhythm. You think you know what the market is about to do next, and that's when the danger begins, because the market has a cruel habit of punishing certainty. I didn't learn this from books. I learned it from pain, from losses that didn't just hurt my account. They shook my identity. And over time, one realization became impossible to ignore. The market is not something you dominate. It is something you survive by respecting. That's why I compare it to the ocean. You can spend years learning its behavior. You can memorize patterns, study charts, measure waves. You can even make a living inside it. But you never own it. You never control it. The ocean allows you to be there until it doesn't. One careless move, one moment of overconfidence, one decision driven by ego instead, awareness, and suddenly everything changes. The market behaves the same way. It is calm until it's not, predictable, until it isn't forgiving, until you cross the line. Why I tell people this business demands humility before it demands intelligence. If you approach trading casually, the market will treat you brutally. If you approach it emotionally, it will drain you slowly. If you approach it with ego, it will eventually break you. This is not a game. This is not excitement. This is not about thrill or dopamine. This is a serious profession, and professions require structure. You need rules, not flexible ones, not emotional ones, but rules you follow even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. You need to know exactly why you're entering a trade before you ever click the B button. You need to know exactly where you're wrong. And you need to accept that being wrong is not weakness. Refusing to accept it is. Most traders don't fail because they lack knowledge. They fail because they lack control. Control over position size. Control over impulse. Control over the urge to revenge trade. Control over the need to be right. And that lack of control shows up in one place, RST, losses. Losses expose everything. They expose your discipline. They expose your preparation. They expose your emotional maturity. A professional absorbs a loss and studies it. An amateur reacts to a loss and repeats it. This is why journaling your trades matters more than most people realize. Not for statistics, but for truth. Because when you write it down, you can't lie to yourself as EAs. You see patterns in your behavior. You see fear entering early. You see greed refusing to exit. You see hesitation where there should be execution. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's growth. But growth also requires something most people avoid: responsibility. When you lose, it's on you, not the news, not the broker, not the market makers. And when you win, be careful. Because success can be more dangerous than failure. Winning feeds ego. Ego feeds overconfidence. Overconfidence leads to bigger risk. Bigger risk eventually meets reality. That cycle has destroyed more traders than bad strategies ever did. The market doesn't reward excitement. It rewards patience. It doesn't reward activity. It rewards timing. And it doesn't reward opinions. It rewards execution, fear, and greed still control human behavior. They did decades ago, and they still do today. That's why patterns repeat. That's why opportunities return. And that's why those who wait, observe, and strike with precision continue to take money from those who rush. Your goal is not to trade more. Your goal is to trade better, to sit on your hands when nothing is clear, to protect your capital when conditions are uncertain, to act decisively only when the odds are truly in your favor. Because capital is opportunity stored. Lose it, and you lose your future trades. Protect it, and you stay in the game long enough to catch the move that matters. I'm telling you this because time is expensive, and mistakes cost more than money. They cost years. Don't give the market another year of careless decisions. Do, and give it another chance to teach you the same lesson again. Refine your method. Slow down your execution. Strengthen your discipline. Because the next big move will not announce itself. It never does. It appears quietly, disguises itself as boredom, and rewards only those who are prepared. When it comes, you won't have time to hesitate. You'll either be ready, or you'll watch it pass. And that moment decides everything. That's the difference between those who build real wealth in this business, and those who become stories others learn from. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Stay humble. The market respects only those who respect it first.